Kindy Rockstars. Prepare for a treat, let's meet and greet some bands and singers that are super sweet, making music that's fun for boys and girls. Help them learn about this great big world. Fun for the family, yes it's true, your kids will love it and you will too. Clap and dance and sing aloud, become a part of the Kindy crowd. These songs will make you move your feet and give your ears a great big treat. So settle in, grab your guitars, and let's get to know our Kindy rock stars. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kindy Rockstars. This is the show that gives you the stories behind the songs from some of the best bands and singers that are making fun, informative, educational, catchy, and occasionally silly songs for children and families. I'm your host, Patrick Adams, and each episode of Kindy Rockstars will feature an artist and a featured song. So let's get to this week's show. With us today is Marsha Goodman-Wood of Marsha and the Positrons. Welcome to the show, Marsha.
Hello, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and the Positrons.
Sure. We sing songs about science and how the world works with positive social messages. And writing and singing about science comes from my background as a neuroscientist. I used to do cognitive neuroscience. And so when I had kids and started getting questions from my kids about all manner of things. A lot of times the answers would be science answers, and some of those answers turned into songs. So, that was sort of like the initial songs came from lots of conversations with my kids and also with kids I was teaching. So when my eldest was about 3 years old, I sort of got recruited to teach music at her preschool. After coming in for her third birthday celebration and bringing my guitar, and I had written an original song and led the class in some songs, and then the director said, "Hey, have you thought about teaching music?" And that sort of led to me doing a training and working there for a few years. And while I was working there, just the kids would have great questions and comments, and so some of those also turned into songs, and that was really the initial inspiration for my songwriting. And, like I said, I like to write about science and like to include fun science facts in the songs. And because I know that kids are just sponges and they just, absorb everything and hear everything, listen to all the messages. And so I really wanted to make sure that all the information was accurate, but also just make it fun and make kids excited about science. And so like one of the most rewarding parts of doing this is, getting stories from parents or from kids that, they listened to a song and then they decided to, look up online about Jupiter's moons, or they decide, they learned something about gravity or some cool thing like that. So, it's just fun to sort of get kids excited about science and to show them a way to have fun with science.
And so your music class evolved into pulling a band together and ultimately releasing music.
Yeah, so it was sort of a long pathway. I was teaching, and eventually, after a few years of teaching sort of the 3 to 5s, and they had added the 2-year-old classrooms and added drama, and I did a musical with the graduating 5-year-olds, and then they cut the music program at the school. So I ended up teaching my own music classes for babies and toddlers. So then I had, that experience of working with those younger kids. And then just about after a couple of years of doing that, my third child was about to be born. And And I kind of realized that if I didn't record any of my original songs within a short time, that it would be like another 5 years before I would have an opportunity to do that. So I decided to go into the studio and recorded my first record, Gravity Vacation, when I was 9.5 months pregnant, or not, almost 8.5 months pregnant. Excuse me. It was 2 weeks before I delivered. And I got to work with this amazing producer. His name is TJ Lipple, and he ended up making our next record as well. And we intend to work with him for our upcoming record. So we're, this past year of pandemic, I've done a lot of songwriting, and so we now have material for this next record, and in fact, like more material than we need for a whole record probably. So we'll have our choice of songs, and we're just sort of figuring out logistics with the current situation of and figuring out when we can all get together, because the band has grown. So during all this time, I started playing with different folks, and we sort of eventually added enough folks to become a band. So first, of the people who are currently in my band, Wardell Howell is my bass player, and I started working with him and have worked with other people. But Wardell sort of is the like longest band member, longest existing band member that's there now. And we've added Ayana Gallant, who is a multi-instrumentalist and singer as well, and she does percussion, hand percussion. And then we have a fiddler whose name is Shell Folk, who joined us not long before the pandemic. So she'll be a part of our next record. And then during pandemic, I also met an electric guitar player who was another dad at soccer. So my youngest was doing a soccer class. We met on the sidelines, and he, of course, has played in bands, and we ended up meeting up and jamming, and he's now part of the band. And then our producer TJ Lipple has also joined us at some recent shows on drums. So he's kind of he'll be joining us from time to time going forward, sort of depending on his own schedule and such. So we've grown, and it's exciting.
And are they all into science as much as you are?
Everybody really likes science. It's no one else is an actual scientist, but they all appreciate science and enjoy science, and they're all, I think, fans of the music, which is fun. It's always fun for me to like bring a new song and see their reactions, because I've been writing all the songs so far. Although there may be additional input from band members going forward. We'll see sort of where that goes. But so far, I've written all the songs, and I never really know. I know if I like a song, but I never know for sure if others are going to like a song after I've written it. So I kind of like to either bring it to an audience or bring it to my bandmates and see what their reactions are. And it's always fun when somebody's like, "Oh, I love this idea, or I love these lyrics," or whatever. So yeah, it's fun. And I would say that they are all science lovers.
Yeah. Well, with a topic like science, the material is endless.
Right.
So yeah,
and
I don't think you'll ever run out of topics.
Well, and also I think that like kids are sort of natural scientists. They're always curious. They ask a lot of why questions. They're sort of ready for any answer. And I think that's it's sort of like it's fun to work with that curiosity and sort of encourage that curiosity, which whether a child ends up sort of like taking a deep interest in science or not, it's still helpful to have that curiosity in anything that they do in life. So I feel like it's a good thing in general.
Nice. So are you ready to dive into your song?
Absolutely.
The feature song today is Hey Pluto. All right, Marsha, I know I was upset when they declared Pluto no longer a planet, so tell me how that inspired you to write this song.
Sure. The funny thing is this song actually sort of came about because of a previous song called Why Can't You Dance on Jupiter? And the scientists who have discovered many of Jupiter's moons actually work like across the street from me. And so I ended up finding that out after the song had been written, and ended up reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, I've got this song that you might like to hear." And they were like super excited about it. And I ended up getting a tour of the lab and and talking with the scientists who had been working on that project. And at the time, they told me that their next project was a satellite that was traveling to Pluto. And the satellite took 9 years to get from Earth to Pluto, and so this was during that period when it was traveling to Pluto, and they were showing me that research, and that sort of inspired the Hey Pluto song. But also it's a song of encouragement for Pluto. So I thought, how would Pluto feel about that change in status from a planet to a dwarf planet? And of course, there's messages in the song about sort of not being defined by your label. So so that was the inspiration, and I felt like I like to mix science facts with social messages, so that seemed like a natural pairing for this song.
Yeah. All right, everyone, let's all get behind Pluto. And let's hear this song.
I used to feel a little bad for Pluto. It was a planet, but got stripped of its rank. Thought of it floating somewhere out there, born of the Kuiper Belt. Its hopes now dashed, perhaps its poor heart sank. Then I realized, sure, it's floating out there, but it's got dwarf planet pals for company. To its real friends, the label doesn't matter. Maybe labels shouldn't matter much to me. Hey Pluto, it's okay. Dwarf planets are so cool anyway. Now we finally got a spacecraft out to meet you, so we'll see what the scientists say. Hey Pluto, it's okay. Dwarf planets are so cool anyway. Now we finally got a spacecraft out to meet you, so we'll see what the scientists say. When the International Astronomical Union defined a planet in 2006, Pluto no longer fit the definition, though it has 5 known moons: Charon, Hydra, Nix, Kerberos, and Styx. And I thought of poor Pluto sitting out there, just a rock with a lost identity. And I wonder, did it feel aimless and lonely? Does it know it still has a fan in me? 'Cause to me, the label doesn't matter. You've gotta be who you've gotta be. True friendship makes my heart go pitter-patter. No, the labels don't matter much to me. Hey Pluto, it's okay. Dwarf planets are still cool anyway. Now we finally got a spacecraft out to meet you, so we'll see what the scientists say. Hey Pluto, it's okay. Dwarf planets are still cool anyway. Now we finally got a spacecraft out to meet you, so we'll see what the scientists say. Oh yeah, we'll see what the scientists say.
That was Hey Pluto by Marsha and the Positrons. All right, Marsha, tell everyone where they can stream and download that song and where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. So they can find us on our website, marshaandthepositrons.com, and they can download the song at Bandcamp, where they can also find merch. We've got some cute t-shirts and some egg shakers and things like that. And of course, you can order a CD from there as well if you still listen to hard copy CDs. You can find us online on YouTube. We have Marsha and the Positrons channel, and hopefully we'll have a video for Hey Pluto before long. We're sort of working on that, and sometimes these things take a little time, so we're not quite there for that yet, but hopefully soon. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We're on Instagram at Marsha and the Positrons. We're on Facebook at Marsha and the Positrons band page, and we're on Twitter at Marsha Positrons.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being on the show, Marsha, and for making science fun.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate getting a chance to talk to your listeners. So thank you.
You got it.